pregame.com.
This is the NFL game of the week, in my opinion. Cowboys, Redskins. We got a free pick from Bryan Leonard. Who do you like and why?
Line's 3 on this, right?
Line's 3.
All right, well, I'm going to take Washington here. Don't want any part of Dallas. It comes down to winning the game. Who do you want? I mean, I hate to pick on Tony Romo, but he doesn't have that great of past. He's actually having a pretty good season compared to some of the other quarterbacks in this league. But, you know, Washington's playing very well. They've won 6 straight games. Something that I haven't heard anybody talk about is when you take a look in the NFL, you take a look at your bye weeks. And the Washington Redskins are playing the 7th game since the bye. Dallas is playing their 12th game since the bye.
So it's a fatigue factor?
It's a fatigue factor for Dallas, and they've had key injuries to players, you know, especially skill position players, all season long. So this is a team that's worn out at this time of the season. They're off back-to-back overtime games. And the turning point in this game was going back to the prior game these two teams played. If we remember, they played in Dallas. It was a Thursday game. And we've talked about this many times over the videos. Road teams who have to play on Thursday are at a major disadvantage. Well, this team with a major disadvantage against a divisional rival went in and racked up 38 points, 437 yards against this Dallas defense. And Dallas, you know, the last 5 weeks defensively, given up 34, 24, 19, 33, 38 points. This is a defense that's wearing down as the season goes on. Now they're playing a very active quarterback who can beat you through the air and on the ground.
So great tidbit about the proximity to the bye and how it fatigues the team late in the year. That's one to take away, I think. Let's conjure up Marco D'Angelo. Now, I think there might have been a breakfast buffet this Saturday morning, so he's not here today. But he's eating his hash browns. But what we're going to do is conjure him up. Isn't this too good to be true? You got the Washington team that has RG3, who's a sensation. You got the Washington team who's surging, who has won and has a great offense. Now you've got a Washington team that, like you said, in a bad spot on the road on Thursday, dominated this team the first matchup. Now they're at home laying 3. Isn't this feel trappy to you?
That's why I said let's make sure we get to 3, because I think it's going to 3.5 here. I know Dallas is,
but it's been drifting down. I mean, this game opened 5 at the Greek, and it's like you said, it's dipping down to 3. You're seeing some big reversal.
No, the public hasn't got involved yet.
All right, assuming then the sharps are betting Dallas.
Well, the sharps are taking the 3.5.
Okay,
or the number.
So that's an interesting point. So we were talking about this between videos. Is the old saying is the public bets teams, the professionals bet numbers, and you're saying the move from 3 is where all the values, or down to 3 is where all the value's coming from.
Right. If you're the public and you've watched ESPN and it's the RG3 network, it's no longer the Tim Tebow network, and they're going to want
might be justified though. 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I think he's number 2 in passer rating. We'll talk about Andrew Luck in a future video here. His stats are nowhere near that.
Yeah, I fully agree. He's having a tremendous season. But who are the public going to bet? They're going to bet Washington. They're not going to bet Dallas. Dallas has burned them so many times. How many times has Dallas been a favorite? Not only didn't cover, didn't win the game straight up. They're not going to want any part of Dallas in one of those must-win situations. And Dallas has not played well in those over the years.
All right, I'm going to give you a few stats, and you either debunk them or say, yeah, but, whatever you want.
Okay.
All right, let's look at the Redskins as a favorite. It's really historically bad. Is last 14 times they've played a team at home that they had more wins than. All right, so in a way that's saying the line's going to be over 3, because if you have more wins, typically you're at least going to be laying 3.5 at home. 14 in a row they've lost against the spread in that spot. All right. Now, Shanahan as a coach, going all the way back to Denver, and again, coaches have tendencies that come with them, is the last 27 times he's been a home favorite, you would have cashed 5 and lost 22. 5 and 22 as a home favorite. So both with Washington and Shanahan, because really Washington's only been a favorite, like, I think less than 10 times under Shanahan. So that stat goes way back with Denver. How do you account for that?
How many times this year were they a favorite at home with RG3?
So you're saying the RG3 changes everything?
Well, I mean, could be a franchise quarterback. So anytime you have a franchise quarterback, you got to go back and take a look at it. I mean, I got plenty of stats about Indianapolis going back. but Peyton Manning was the quarterback at that time.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, yeah, teams change every year. We know that. So if that was the default answer, then we could never go back more than 1 year with stats. But you're saying sometimes there's a transformative player, that him coming or going, and Peyton Manning's a great example, changes an entire franchise. Thus, you've got to be careful with the longer-term trends.
That's correct. Look at LeBron James before he came to the Cavaliers.
Now, on another video we talked about, on the Giants video, we talked about that certain interdivisional games are underdog driven. This is another one, is in the last 28 games in this series, the underdog has covered 21 of them. Okay, so so the question is, and we talked about it in the Eagles and Giants, it was 13-2 with the underdog. So we're talking, twice a year, so 14 plus years, 21-7 against the spread for the underdog. Does that scare you?
It doesn't scare me, but it makes a lot of sense. And if
you can change your pick at any time.
I'm not going to change it unless I give out the over, because that's a lot of reasons to take the
or unless it takes a 3.5, right?
In the middle of the 3.5, I'll probably play off. But yeah, it's a situation. Dallas is a team that the underdog seems to always cover in the Dallas games. Washington, very similar. So when the two match up, it makes a lot of sense.
And Dallas has 3 seasons, the dog's 74% in those games. And Dallas has faded late, though, which leans towards Washington, only 31% in December since 2005. So a lot of stats, a lot of powerful stats. I agree, there might be some value at 3, but this is such a dog series. But we've talked it through. Let's make it official.
All right, if we can lay 3, I'll take the Redskins here. I just think they're the better team. They're playing the better ball. Don't want any part of Dallas in a must-win situation. Wouldn't surprise me this game goes off at 3.5, so make sure you do get the 3. 3.5, it's a slight lane, but still like it at 3. And, this Washington team, when they went to Dallas before and won on Thursday, that was very impressive.
Wise guys bet numbers, not teams. That's the takeaway. All right, guys, next up, we got another NFL video. We're talking Packers and Vikings, and another free pick from Bryan Leonard. Talk to you then.